Bart, on really the legal institutional planning processes around urban resilience. What needs to be done? What's your experience? What have you done in the Netherlands?
Well, thank you. I'd like to start a little bit with how the institutional framework related to climate resilience is organized in the Netherlands. And I take the liberty of defining the Netherlands as one big city. It's not fully true, but this Netherlands, most of you will know it, I think, is a typical delta with a large part of the area below sea level would be flooded if not protected. And due to some serious disasters in our past 500 years, we worked hard, and we can say now it is the best protected delta in the world. Of course, we are proud of that, but we also know that we have to keep on working, and we say working on our delta is never finished. And what is important is that also the government has realized that something institutionally is necessary to keep this on the agenda. And therefore a long-term program has been started, the Delta program, which is anchored in law and which has a specific commissioner to bind all institutions and governments that play an important role. And this commissioner should also take into account all stakeholders, including let's say the civil stakeholders. I think important also institutionally, mostly you do something, let's put it otherwise, it's easy to do something after a disaster. You said we are in a perfect storm, and if there is a real storm, people are, let's say, relatively easy to motivate to act. But if not everybody realizes there is a storm, or there is no storm, then it's quite difficult. And therefore you have to be aware that it's, without a disaster, staying ahead of a disaster is the right way to go, but a very difficult one. And I think that it is nice to talk about it further on in the panel. Maybe some examples in the Netherlands is, well, first we really try to look for multifunctional solutions. Solutions that are integrated, where a lot of, let's say, as many as possible challenges can be combined, and where also there is a lot of win-win to be gained. And what we try to do in the Netherlands is that, well, a lot of the grounds are already developed, so new developments are scarce. And sometimes people say, why on earth have you ever started building at -5 below sea level? We did, and there is now a huge investment. So you can't say, well, let's move to Germany. It's throwing money into the water, so therefore we stick to the Netherlands, and we can protect and stay there. But then we do not do new buildings or new building developments, but we restructure. And while restructuring and doing that in a sensible way, we try to combine the possibility, let's say the driver of restructuring an urban area, with the possibility to make it climate resilient. And in that sense, in that way, you can do it very cost effective, so little additional costs and a lot of additional benefits for resilience. And for those who want to look at it in real time, you can come to Rotterdam, which has a climate-proof program, and which means that all restructuring in Rotterdam is done taking in mind, having in mind climate resilience. So there is a parking garage that is also used for water storage. Not at the same time or at the same level, so you can park your car without being afraid to get your car wet. But also, let's say, water squares, combination of, let's say, urban farming on top of houses to keep water, all these kinds of initiatives, sometimes small, sometimes bigger, but really meant to get a climate resilient situation. Well, I think for this moment